Good morning and welcome to the second part of Chapter 4. We found a good breaking point, so I broke it up into parts A and B. Where we left off, Trevor's mom, Arlene, had just discovered his little project because Jerry went in and took a shower in her house and she wasn't pleased about that. So now she's going to head down to the school. Because it was always much easier to blow off steam to a stranger, Arlene went down to Trevor's school to have a little talk with this Mr. St. Clair. She went to the office first thing before class started in the morning, hoping she would not even run into Trevor and that he would never have known she was there. The office lady told her to go right up. She got halfway through the door into his classroom, stopped, and misplaced all that good steam she had built up because she had never seen a man with only half of a face. It's one of those things. It takes a minute to adjust to, and she knew if she took even 1 minute more, he'd have noticed that she had noticed his unfortunate scarring, which would be just plain rude. This whole scene had gone very smoothly in her mind on the way to school, where she had been angry, well-spoken, and really quite good. If you remember, Trevor actually went up and said, "What's wrong with your face?" And he goes, "I appreciate that so much more than people pretending like it's not even there." She moved through the room toward his desk. He was still waiting for something to be said. "What is paying forward?" Excuse me? That expression, paying forward, what does that even mean? I give up. What does it mean? No, you're supposed to tell me. "I would love to, ma'am, if I knew. But if you don't mind my asking, who are you?" "Oh, did I forget to say that? Excuse me. Arlene McKinley." She reached her hand out and he shook it. Trying not to look at his face, she noticed that his left arm was deformed somehow, the wrong size, which gave her the shivers for a second. "My boy is in your social studies class. Trevor?" Something came into his face then, a positive recognition, which being connected in some way to her boy made her like this man better. Connected in some way to her boy made her like this man better. Trevor, yes. I like Trevor. I particularly like him. He's very honest, quite direct. Arlene tried for a little sarcastic laugh, but it came out as a snort, more of like a pig sound, and she could feel her face turn red because of it. Yeah, he's that all right. Only you kind of say it like it's a good thing. I think it is. Now, what is this about paying forward? I'm supposed to know something about that, you think? Actually, she'd been hoping for a laugh, a smile, something besides his businesslike manner. A bad sense was forming of Mr. St. Clair looking down his nose at her in some way she could never entirely prove. "It has something to do with an assignment you gave out." That's what Trevor said. He said it was like a project for his social studies class. Ah, yes, the assignment. He moved to the blackboard and swung out of and she swung out of his way, as though there were a big wind around them that kept her from getting too close. "I'll write it out for you, exactly as I did for the class. It's actually quite simple." And he wrote on the board, "Think of an idea for think of an idea for world change and put it into action." He set his chalk down and turned back. That's all it is. This paying forward must be Trevor's own idea. That's all it is? That's it? Arlene could feel pressure building around her ears, that clean, satisfying anger she had come here to vent in the first place. "You just want him to change the world, that's all? Well, I'm glad you didn't give him anything hard or anything." "Miss McKinley, now you listen here. Trevor is 12 years old, and you want him to change the world? I've never even heard of such bull. First of all, it's voluntary, for extra credit. If a student feels the idea overwhelming, he or she need not participate. Second of all, what I want is for the students to re-examine their role in the world and think of ways one person can make a difference. It's a healthy exercise. Yeah, so is climbing Mount Everest. But that might be a bit too much for the poor little guy too, don't you think? Did you know Trevor has taken a homeless man under his wing and brought him into my house? A homeless man, a total stranger. This guy could have problems we know nothing about. What do you suggest I do about the trouble that you've caused? I suggest you talk to Trevor. Lay down the house rules. Tell him when his efforts on this project conflict with safety. You do talk to him, don't you? What kind of a question is that? Of course I talk to him. It just seems odd that you would come all the way down here to find out what paying forward is, when Trevor could have just easily have told you. Leaving the room was becoming a more and more appealing option. Well, I guess this was a mistake. Obviously, nothing was being accomplished here. Miss McKinley, his voice hit her back a few steps into a long stride to safety and freedom. She almost kept walking, but like ignoring a ringing phone, it was contrary to her human nature. She spun around to face this man, whom she now openly disliked. What? I hope you'll forgive me asking this, but is Trevor's father dead? Arlene blinked as though she had been slapped. Of course not. I mean, she hopes not. Did Trevor tell you that? No. He said something strange. He said, we don't know where he is. I thought maybe he was being euphemistic. Well, we don't know where he is. Ah, well, I'm sorry, I was just wondering. Bewildered now, she struck out for the door, and nothing could have stopped her. What a way to feel like a complete idiot. Not only did she just admit that the father of her child hadn't so much as sent a Christmas card home, but now she'd have to go to find a dictionary to look up the word euphemistic. See what he just accused her son of being. It better not have been an insult. It better not have been. That's all she could think. Well, that's the second part of chapter 4. I hope you enjoyed the place, and I hope you enjoyed the chapter, and we will see you next time with a new chapter in a new place.